unless in public, you're not prepared to condemn Hamas for the slaughter of 1,400 innocent people in Israel on October the 7th. So I give you the chance, given that you want others to condemn acts that kill people, even if they're not responsible, given that Hamas have brazenly admitted responsibility for what they did, are you prepared to condemn it?
Piers, you know, this game and this narrative...
It's not a game.
It's a game, it's a game, it's a game.
Why?
I'll tell you
why. Why should you demand condemnation of people dying, but not be prepared to condemn it yourself?
Allow me to explain it to you and to your viewers why it is a game, and a very vicious, unfair, asymmetric game that has contributed to the oppression of my people for 100 years. Number one, you know our position. You know that Hamas is just a militant group that was created 20, 30 years ago.
You think they're terrorists?
You asked me this question? Okay. What is the definition of terrorism?
Well, I'll just ask you.
What is the definition of terrorism?
The UK government,
I'll give you the
UK government.
I'll give you the definition.
Has them as a prescribed
Piers,
terror group.
I'll give you the international United Nations definition of terrorism. It is the unlawful use of violence against civilians to terrorize them for the sake of a political agenda. Agreed? Agreed? Unlawful violence against civilians. Do you? And answer me, please.
Well, no, I've asked you a question.
Do you consider Israel to be
Ambassador, with respect, I'm asking you a terrorist state?
Do you consider Israel to be a terrorist
Ambassador,
state?
Yep. If you won't answer me, why should I answer you?
Did we agree? Did we agree on the definition of terrorism?
Yep. I've asked you, is Hamas a terror group?
Israel has been targeting civilians in front of your eyes for 75 years.
But why should I answer any of your questions if you won't answer mine?
Deliberate targeting, and not just this round. 2014, you know all that happened. 2005.
I'm very aware of the history.
Okay, then you are
I've been very critical of Israel over the years.
Is Israel a terrorist state?
I'm asking you the question.
Is Israel a terrorist state?
Ambassador.
Well, this is the asymmetric.
Ambassador.
Answer me and I'll answer you about Hamas.
No, it's not how this works.
No, it is.
It's my show.
It is.
And you're a guest on my show.
See, the Western media, they want to control the narrative. Therefore, what they think is terrorism is something they want all of us to believe. Therefore, this whole definition of terrorism and the word that they have been using against the Muslims is being used exclusively to define those people who are resisting against a non-Muslim government or a state.
It is. From now on, this is the way it works.
Okay,
but there has to be equity and symmetry.
You are the ambassador to the United Kingdom.
We are equal. I'll ask you a question.
You are the ambassador.
I am, proudly so. Proudly so. I'll ask you a question.
And you've been here, I think, since 2018.
Yes.
You've been ambassador for 5 years, right?
Yes, and I was in the US before.
Right, and the UK government has Hamas identified as a prescribed terror group. Do you agree with that?
That's the UK business.
You don't agree?
No. This is not about me agreeing or agreeing. I'd like the UK to...
Few days ago, one Israeli civilian, she said Hamas people came to her house and they asked her, can I eat a banana? They saw a banana. Is this terrorism? Does it sound like these people are terrorists? This is insane. I mean, crazy.
Designate the Kahanist in the Israeli government as a terrorist group.
You may want other groups designated.
As a terrorist group. I want to see.
But as the Palestinian ambassador, do you disagree with Hamas being prescribed as a terror group?
Get my point. Please, get my point. I want to see equal treatment, and I will accept the equal rules. If these rules are applied on the Israelis, I would raise my hand and accept it.
Okay.
I will put my hand on my heart.
Let me say this to you.
Do you consider Israel to be a terrorist state?
Let me say this to you.
That's number one. Number two, I'll ask you, do you accept the UK? You asked me about the UK government. The UK designates Palestine as the occupied Palestinian territory, right? OPT. We are occupied. Do you accept that designation?
Well, it's an interesting question about occupation, isn't it?
That's your government.
I think the Palestinians have lived in a very repressive...
So it's not occupation?
Well, it's a repression, right?
What?
They are living.
You don't accept international.
They are living as repressed people. So I have for years.
Oppressed by what?
Well, they're oppressed by Israel effectively keeping people trapped in Gaza, right? And they have the ability, as they've shown in the last few days, to turn on and off water, to turn on and off food supply. I think all this is wrong.
What about the West Bank?
Ambassador, I think it's all wrong. But let me just ask.
No. This is a major point.
You're not interviewing me.
Is it an occupation?
Ambassador, you're not interviewing me. And what you're trying to do, if you don't mind me saying, you are distracting from my original question.
It's a conversation.
Respectfully, Ambassador.
It's a conversation.
I was interested that you last night were demanding that political leaders like Keir Starmer condemn a supposed attack by Israelis on a hospital, which now looks like it wasn't by Israelis. And I'm simply saying to you...
You keep repeating
if
this.
You want
parroting this. How do
Ambassador,
you know?
Let me finish my question.
How do you know it's not by Israelis?
I don't.
How do you know?
I don't.
So don't say it.
But nor do you.
Oh, I know what I'm saying. I represent the situation.
You do not know
you
it was an Israeli airstrike.
You hold me accountable next time. You're neutral.
Okay.
You're neutral.
I am neutral.
I'm not neutral.
Okay, I get that.
So no.
Okay.
You are being biased.
That is honest of you.
You are taking the Israeli side.
No, I'm not.
You are.
I'm not saying...
You are following the cue from Israel.
No, I'm not.
See, with Piers Morgan, the problem is that he would accept whatever Israel is doing. Some of them, he will say, yeah, I accept that this is not something right they should be doing, but he refuses to put a label on them, which is terrorism. They go against any convention, they go against any basic human rights. And Piers Morgan occasionally will say, yeah, they should not have done it, but then why don't you call Israel a terrorist state? Because this is exactly what terrorists, they do. So this is insane.
Okay.
I'm saying the BBC Verify unit has said tonight, do you think they're impartial in this or not?
They shouldn't.
They won't even call Hamas terrorists.
This is none of their business. This is the business of Karim Khan, the prosecutor.
I'm going to ask you one more time, and you don't have to answer this question if you don't want to. It's entirely down to you. But given that last night you wanted people to condemn what happened last night, in your belief that it was an Israeli airstrike, and you were ferocious in demanding that repeatedly, will you now take the opportunity to condemn what Hamas did on October the 7th? Final, I only ask you one more time.
22 Arab states convened at the beginning of this, including my state, my government, and they condemned.
Do you personally condemn it?
They condemned the killing of civilians from all sides.
Right.
You know what?
Not all sides.
No, from all sides.
Do you condemn what happened on October the 7th? Why are you so reluctant to condemn it?
You asked.
You were the one last night demanding people condemn things.
I'll tell you why. I would be the first to condemn. If I ever saw you asking an Israeli official to condemn, did you ask the ambassador to condemn all the atrocities?
I will be asking.
I'll tell you.
I will be asking the representative of the ambassador.
No. You had the ambassador before me. You did not
Yes.
ask her to condemn anything.
Then you didn't watch the interview.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Okay. Let me ask you one more time.
I did.
He is totally dumbfounded, Piers Morgan, at this point. He doesn't really have anything to say other than lying in front of a camera. He lies all the time. Why he does that? And then he stutters. I mean, this person, I don't think is fair. I mean, any Muslim would go to his interview, would be prepared for his lies.
Because I'm not sure if you heard my question.
I will not answer this question unless you allow me to explain.
No, that's fine. You don't have to answer it.
No, I'll tell you.
But if you're not going to answer it, don't demand that other people condemn things.
No.
And certainly don't ask me to condemn things.
Piers.
If you won't condemn 1,400 people being slaughtered.
Our position.
How can you not condemn what they did?
Our position is very clear. I represent the Palestinian leadership and people. I represent the PLO. That's the sole legitimate representation of the Palestinian people. President Mahmud Abbas, the government. Hamas is not...
See, they are doing this oppression for the last more than 5 decades. Israel, IDF. They do not condemn one single act. And then all of a sudden, the people of Palestine in Gaza, they boiled up and they did something, and they want an apology from every single Muslim, if possible. This is the type of report that we are seeing from Piers Morgan coming through him. And this is not right. Ben Shapiro, all of these people, Matt Walsh, pro-Zionist, they want us to condemn if a Jew is killed. But they're killing hundreds and thousands of Muslims. They don't care. They say we are killing terrorists. I mean, this is the level of hypocrisy that we are seeing right now. I mean, I don't think this is hypocrisy. This is open, blatant aggression against the Muslims everywhere, on media, in Gaza, in Palestine, everywhere. It's a blatant aggression against all of us. We are being assaulted, every single Muslim. And let not forget that this is going to continue on until we raise our voice and talk about these things and pinpoint and educate each other that what we are saying today is just kind of continuation of what happened in the past, but it needs to stop and we need to raise our voices. Thank you guys for watching.